Amid the glittering life of Australia, where Islam is often misunderstood and seen as foreign, a young woman named Susan Carlin embarked on a journey she had never imagined before, a journey toward the light of Islam. Susan was born and raised in a non-Muslim family that held a skeptical view of religion, especially Islam. Since childhood, she grew up believing that Islam was a backward religion, full of restrictive rules and irrelevant to modern life. To young Susan, Islam was not something worth considering, let alone embracing. However, fate had other plans. At the age of 19, Susan's life began to change. Her great curiosity led her to study various religions, not because she was seeking the truth, but because she wanted to prove that Islam was indeed, as people said, outdated, harsh, and irrational. She started reading books about Islam, engaging in discussions with different people, and attending academic gatherings that explored world religions. However, the more she delved into it, the more she discovered something surprising. Islam was nothing like what she had always imagined. I felt like I had been slapped by reality, she recalled. Every question I thought would disprove Islam instead turned around and provided logical and beautiful answers. But there was one thing that haunted her mind. How would the people around her react if she chose Islam? Fear began to creep into her. She imagined her family being disappointed, her friends distancing themselves, and society judging her. A great turmoil raged within her. She wanted to deny the truth she had begun to realize, but her inner voice kept whispering, "This is what you've been searching for all along." Until one night, in the silence of her room, Susan made the biggest decision of her life. She recited the Shahada. Tears streamed down her face. She felt a peace she had never experienced before, but she also knew this was just the beginning of a journey full of challenges. Being a Muslim in Australia was not easy, especially for a woman from a non-Muslim background. When news of her decision spread, Susan faced an overwhelming storm. "I lost some friends. They thought I had chosen the wrong path," she said. "Some even asked how an intelligent woman like me could choose a religion that is perceived as oppressing women." However, Susan did not back down. She was confident in her decision and sought to prove that Islam is a religion that honors women, not oppresses them. Her journey in Islam deepened. She not only continued learning, but also began to engage in dawah. She wanted to show the true face of Islam, one of love, mercy, and justice. Year after year passed, and her influence continued to grow. She founded the television program Salam Cafe, a show that introduced Islam to the Australian public in a relaxed and inclusive way. The program became popular and was watched by both Muslims and non-Muslims. Susan also actively spoke at various forums, from churches to Jewish communities, from schools to business organizations. She wanted the world to see Islam from a different perspective, through the eyes of a woman who was once skeptical but had now become a part of Islam. Then, in 2004, Susan Carlin was awarded the title of Australian Muslim of the Year, surpassing many other prominent Muslim figures, including men. She not only received the award, but also won a prize of $2,000. However, without hesitation, she donated the entire amount to various charitable organizations, both Muslim and non-Muslim. "Islam teaches us to give, not just to receive," she said with a warm smile. However, Susan's journey did not stop there. She still had to face a major challenge: the stigma that Islam and terrorism were inseparable. Every time a terrorist attack happens, Muslims around the world are viewed with suspicion, including me, she said. "I have to keep explaining that Islam is not about violence, but about peace." Despite this, she remained steadfast. She knew that the truth did not need to be defended with hatred, but with good character. "I believe that Islam is the true religion," she stated, "and the world needs to realize how beautiful it is to be a Muslim." Today, Susan Carlin is not only an academic and activist, but also an inspiration to many Muslim women in Australia and around the world. From a girl who once doubted Islam to becoming one of the most influential Muslim figures, Her story is proof that guidance can come from the most unexpected paths and that the truth will always find its way, even if it must pass through a storm. May this story inspire us all to strengthen our faith in the beauty of Islam and continue worshiping with sincerity. Ameen, Ya Rabbal Alameen. In a small town in the United States, a girl named Kaya Graviter grew up in a devout Christian family. Every Sunday, she sat in the church pews, listening to sermons with deep reverence. She read the Bible with great devotion, trying to understand the teachings passed down through generations in her family. However, something within her kept stirring. Since childhood, Kaya had not only accepted the beliefs taught to her, but was also a seeker. Many questions lingered in her mind. Why do we have to pray through an intermediary? Why can't we address God directly? She often asked these questions, but the answers she received never truly satisfied her heart. As she entered her teenage years, her doubts grew stronger. At the age of 16, Kaya began to feel that something was missing in her faith. During every family prayer, they would always express gratitude to Jesus, but Kaya felt more comfortable thanking God directly. That feeling continued to haunt her, making her feel as if she were standing at a crossroads. The year 2011 became a turning point in her life. When she started college, Kaya met several Muslim students. Before that, Islam was a religion she had only known through the media, often filled with negative stigma. She had already believed that Islam was a strange, foreign teaching that contradicted the values she had always held. One day, a friend said to her, "Did you know that Islam and Christianity share the same prophets?" That statement shook her thoughts. Kaya found it strange. How could two religions that seemed so different have something in common? Driven by curiosity, she began to explore Islam more deeply. At first, her intention was not to understand, but to prove that Islam was exactly as portrayed by the media, an irrational religion. She read articles, watched videos, and engaged in discussions with her friends. However, the deeper she delved, the more she discovered things that directly contradicted the prejudices she had always held. One of the most surprising things for her was the Quran. Unlike the scriptures of other religions, this holy book of Islam had never changed since it was first revealed. No revisions, no new additions, no different versions. Every letter recited by Muslims today is exactly the same as what Prophet Muhammad taught centuries ago. At the same time, Kaya also discovered that Islam teaches simplicity in worship. There are no intermediaries, no complex concept of the Trinity. A Muslim simply raises their hands and speaks directly to God in their prayers. Kaya's heart began to waver. What she had always considered a strange teaching was actually providing answers to the questions that had haunted her for so long. After months of studying Islam, Kaya could no longer deny it. Her heart had found the truth she had been searching for. She began to feel a peace she had never experienced before. In 2014, after a long journey, Kaya made a life-changing decision. With a trembling heart and tears streaming down her face, she recited the Shahada. As the words left her lips, she felt as if the burden she had carried for so long had disappeared. There was a happiness that words could not describe. She had found her true home in Islam. However, the journey was not over. Her decision to become a Muslim was not easy. Fear lingered in her mind. How would her family react? How would her friends accept this change? For a long time, Kaya chose to hide her Islam. She worshipped in secret, read the Quran in silence, and lived a double life. Until in her final year of college, she grew tired of living in deception. She no longer wanted to hide her identity. One day, gathering all her courage, she decided to wear the hijab. As she stepped outside for the first time with the hijab on her head, her heart pounded. She knew there would be strange looks, perhaps even difficult questions. But most importantly, she had made peace with herself. Her family was, of course, shocked, but over time they began to accept Kaya's decision. Though it was not easy, she remained steadfast in her faith, explaining to them that Islam is a religion that teaches peace, love, and generosity. Today, Kaya Gravatar is not only a Muslima, but also a fighter for the truth. She uses her voice as a writer to correct misconceptions about Islam, sharing her story so that more people can understand its true teachings. I used to be someone who didn't care and believed everything the media said because I had never met a Muslim or understood the true essence of Islam, she said. From a girl full of doubts, Kaya has now found unwavering faith. Her journey is proof that the light of truth always finds its way, even in the most unexpected places.